Yeah, we are live now. Okay, so let's discuss what you want to discuss first, and then I have something for you. So let me first hear you out, and then I will tell you.
Okay. So, I actually today, sir, I was reading the post on the Lal's website, and I was reading this particular post where he describes Asava, Anusuya, Gati, and everything. So I had actually read that post, but I got a lot of clarity today that how the whole things works. We have very deep tendencies for various kind of sensory objects. I mean, particular type of sensory objects, and when they come into contact at the Hadaya Vatu using the senses, the Anusuya comes up as a asava, and then we have greed and hatred and whatever defilements for the things based on our whole gati, right? Gati, it is gati.
That is Gati, yeah.
Yeah. So I was just reading that whole thing. Then I was thinking about why do we have this, tendency to enjoy this sensory objects, etc. So only cause that at least I could think of. I only reason I could think why we do that is uh, whatever level of ayonisho mansikara that we have, a little bit, whatever little bit we have. I think that is the reason why we do such things, right? And we have that ayoniso mansikara because we have ignorance, right? And that ignorance, I mean, ignorance is a paradoxical thing. So of course, you would have realized this. Like a person who is ignorant, he cannot know that he is ignorant of this thing or that thing. If he knew that what he is ignorant of, he would no longer be ignorant. So that is the paradox. So only thing that I come up with is that I think the problem is still the same, that our attitude of taking various things as completely to our liking. We think it can be maintained and etc. I think that is the avidya, right? That is the avidya. I mean, at your level, sir, my question would be, at your level, sir, what do you think is avidya of regular people and everyone, even avidya of what avidya Sotapanna has, what he is not able to remove to further progress ahead.
Okay, so see, the thing is like this: what is avidya of what? That you need to understand, and then you will see
Yeah.
what level, who, and what will not get. Okay, 1 second. Anjo, one second.
Yeah, sure, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So, number one. So let's understand this whole thing completely. So the first avidya is that you will not be able to see the four elements or the quality of the four elements.
Okay.
Okay. If you see someone, you will see him as a person, as against seeing them as combination of four elements. Okay, that is the avidya. And because of that, there are a lot of sankharas we do. Okay, so the yatha bhuta jnana darshana has not happened, meaning seeing the things as they are, and that is bhuta. What is bhuta is a combination of elements. So when I see you, if I am seeing you as Harshil and I am in avidya, if
Right.
if I see you as a collection of elements and nothing else for myself, in a reflection of consciousness. Now, the reflection of consciousness is Harshil, and the reflection of consciousness should be only the four elements. The when we say
Right.
when we look at element, it means the quality of the element. So dhatu, okay, that's a quality. So when I see you, I should be able to see you in this way. I shouldn't be seeing it in any other way other than this way when I see you or see anyone. Okay, if I am able to see like that with every given person and every given object, and then what happens here is that the raga and dvesha keeps on reducing.
Right.
Okay, and this complete avidya will go away only at Arahat. Right now it stays and goes and stays and goes, but it's completely there. So how do we practice it is the question. So we can do it by Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta is one sutta, and you can go by Mahanidana Sutta, then there is Phena Pindupama Sutta, then like that there are so many suttas where Buddha explains either through five aggregates or through looking at the dhatu. Or we can go by Chachakka Sutta. It's about 6 kinds of feelings. So you can look at that. So the basic aim, so let's understand this. The basic aim at whatever level you and I or anybody is in is to see that because of rupa there is a feeling. Because of feeling there is a perception. Because of the perception there is sankhara. Because there is sankhara, there is an experience of that sankhara. So if the rupa were not to be there, then there wouldn't have been any phassa, means contact. If there is no contact, then there is no feeling. If there is no feeling, then there is no perception. So feeling and perception go together. So if we say sanya, vedaita, nirodha, what it really means is that you don't have the feeling and perception. Now, can I test it? What is nibbana? Absolutely, you can test it in the night. When you go to deep sleep, you are in nibbana, but you are ignorant of that. Why? Because there is no feeling, there is no perception, the 5 senses are closed, and the mind is completely shut off. So if somebody were to ask, are you dead? The answer is no. The question is asked, are you alive? Yes, you are alive, but you don't know.
Yeah.
So there is no I, there is no mind, there is no this, there is no that, there is no yesterday, there is no tomorrow, there is no today, there is nothing there. And that state is Nibbana. No matter how much you do, whatever you do, before 5 minutes before the deep sleep state, not the dream state, 5 minutes before the dream state and then the deep sleep state, when you go to deep sleep, there is no you. There is no you to sleep. If you are you there, it means you are not slept. If there is no you, then you are slept. So when you get back, when you wake up, if somebody were to ask you, who are you yesterday night? Nothing.
Right.
If somebody were to say, were you in Nibbana? No idea. Were you having sankharas? No idea. Were you having vinyana? No idea. Were you having rupa? No. Do you have vedana? No. Do you have sanya? No. There is no sankhara. There is no vinyana. There is no upadana of any one of those. You have only 5 khandas, but you don't have the upadana to the khandas.
Right.
And hence you will not say, I am this rupa, I am this vedana, I am this sanya, I am that sankhara, I am that vinyana. You cannot. But does vinyana exist? Yes, sir. Very much exist. Can I see the vinyana? No, sir. Why? Because there is no contact between chakku and the rupa. And hence there is no connection. If there is no connection, there is no feeling. If there is no feeling, there is no perception. Right? So There's nothing like you have created papancha sanya sankha. You have not created the world. So, if you look at it, chakuncha patticha rupe upachati chakku vinnyanam, tinna sangati phasso. These three becomes contact. Phassa pacha vedana. So, this creates the feeling. Yam vedeti tam sanjanati. Whatever you feel, you perceive. Now, let's take this in a proper way. When I see you, there is a phassa, there is a contact. And when there is a
Yeah.
contact, what happens? When there is a contact, yam vedeti tam sanjanati. Whatever one feels, one perceives. So now I am perceiving Harsil because I am feeling Harsil. Even though there is no person called as Harsil, it's just a given name. It's a nama and rupa, name and form. Still I get attached to that, and then I say that I like Harsil or I don't like Harsil. It is just an identifier. There is only, I cannot call a 32 part of body person. So just to make sure that I don't have to call all the time, I am seeing head, I am seeing eyes, I am seeing ears and nose and tongue and heart and lungs and all that, I can just give a name, which I can name it with a collection of these many things. That's all. Right? So when I say Harshil, if I am seeing the Yatha Bhuta Jnana, then there is, what do I see? I see it as a collection of 32 parts of the body. If I am seeing that, what happens is that there is neutral sense, the neutral feeling of the heart. When there is neutral feeling of the heart, then what happens? You feel blissed because you don't take either the raga or the dvesha. So if I don't take anything against Harshil, or I don't start loving that Harshil, if I don't do this or do that but stay neutral, then upekha comes into existence instead of papancha sanya sankha, which is this whole this prolifying or prolification of this and that and what it is and how it is, a story making is what it is all about. So Harshil has a story, Vilas has a story, somebody else has a story. So we all have stories. And that story making is avijja, because there is no story as such, it's just created. And whatever you create should end up in dukkha because it's not true. So this is what is the jnana, what you should get, and an arhat always has it, whereas a sakadagami or an anagami, or like an anagami, will have it but not all the time because avijja still has. And when he gets into the ninth jhana, the eighth jhana, whichever jhana he is in, he gets addicted to that. So he doesn't want to let go of the rupa and arupa jhanas. And then he has an udacha, restlessness to achieve. And he also has mana, that I have indeed crossed over and now I am an anagami. Now the question is, do I have all of those? Some of it in very strong sense, some of them in very lighter sense. But if I add all of them, all the 5 higher fetters are there. I can see it is there. Okay, that is very clear. So if somebody were to ask me that, are you liberated? My answer is no. Are you on the verge of liberation? The answer is yes. Why? Because I can see the Yatha Bhuta Jnana for myself. And I can see the Paticsamutpada for myself, not reading it. I can see it myself. How this is working. Do I not to need the Pali thing, or should we speak only in Pali? No. But if you are using Pali, I need to know it properly. That's the only thing. Otherwise, I don't require. So what is required then? I am supposed to look at this body as anicca. Now the different meanings are given on anicca. So whichever meaning suits to my temperament or my liking or whatever, unless I get that insight, the whole idea is three. First, you need to get an insight, which is called as the awakening moment. You get that wow moment. Yeah, I got it. Then you get into self realization. So you realize that there is no self. There is nothing called as self anywhere. So you get anatta experience. And the third one is vimukti. So the third is the most important. So that is when the Arahat Phala Samapatti happens. You will come to know for yourself that you have crossed over, you have finished your journey. Now there is nothing more to be done. That's all what this whole thing is all about. So I can read from puredhamma.net, I can read from Sujato, I can read from Dhammaveel, I can read this, I can read that. All that are good to me, absolutely fair. But what I need to practice, I need to take one sutta, one of it, and keep on practicing it. And what Buddha says is that there is no sutta like Mahasatipatthana Sutta. That is one sutta which gives you all of the experience. Whether you want to do through Anapanasati way or you want to see through Iriyapabba, that is the body movement, or you want to go through Sampajanya Pabba, or you want to go through the Dhatu, or you want to go through this, that, Vedanas, and then you want to go through the Chitta, or you want to go to the Dhamma, or whatever. So it covers the whole gamut. The entire Buddha teaching is there in Mahasatipatthana Sutta. And Mahasatipatthana Sutta advantage is that it covers up the 37 Bhujanga factors also. So it helps you in both. It tells you where you are. It also tells you how far have you reached. So you'll be able to see for yourself, so whether my Yatha Bhuta Jnana has happened or not, through nostril, through the looking at the breath. No, it is not working out for me. Okay, done, no problem. Next, let me take this body. Let me watch what is happening in the body when I walk, how the bending is happening, how I am stretching, how what is happening. So I can see it is a motion, it is no person there, it is actually just a movement. So it is like a puppet show, that there is consciousness and it just opens up, releases, opens up, releases. So there is no person there. So if there is holding, mind cannot do anything. It has a tremendous pain. So the pain is felt by the mind, but the pain is given by the recognition of the pain is given by the consciousness. So you will come to see it. So if everything is moving, everything is good, then you don't have any pain. But something is not good, you will find pain. So what consciousness knows? So Buddha says that consciousness knows the sukha, consciousness knows the dukkha, consciousness knows the neutral, adukha, asukha. What does the Vedana know then? Vedana is just the feeling. So what it knows? It identifies itself with Sukha Vedana. It identifies itself with Dukkha Vedana. It identifies itself with the Adukha Asukha Vedana. That means depending upon what the consciousness does, provides, the mind feels that. Also it recognizes it. So when an object it sees, it is this object which it is able to recognize to sanya, perception. It feels happy. Like, my mother comes, or my father comes, or my brother comes, or my sister comes, or my son comes, or daughter comes, or whomever I have remembered comes. I feel happy because that object has come. So when the object comes, there is a phassa, contact, and when there is phassa, there is vedana. So the mind, whatever is called as mind, feels, and the sanya, perception, recognizes and names that this is this, this is that, this is this, this is that. So what I should do is I need to cut out this mind with five senses. Six senses are there, so I need to cut out, remove that contact. And now you can see there is no passa. If there is no passa, there is no vedana. If there is no vedana, there is no sanya. If there is no sanya, there is nothing else that happens. Because yam sanjanati tam vitakketi, the person will start to think based upon the perception. The person comes into existence only when there is perception. So now there is no thing called as a person. When there is no person, there is no papancha sanya sanka, which is the proliferation of stories. That's not there. So basically, if I am a Sotapanna, I might not be able to get into this state quite often. Once in a while, it might work. I might need to be reading this, that, trying combination of things, and it clicks. If I am a Sakadagami, now I am able to reflect upon it easily, because now I know that I have broken the first three fetters anyway as a Sotapanna, and I have broken the other two fetters to a greater extent, which is the Kamachanda and Vyapada. So those two, it's nothing but sensual, going towards sensuality. The sensual entertainment is not there much. And because of that, I am not having any hatredness. Why? Because I am able to have the Yatha Bhuta Jnana. That means I am able to see through these two nostrils, through this big mouth, I can see space. Now I know that if a person is opening up his mouth, it is not a person, it is just a space. This nostril area is again a space. The ear area is again the space. And then I can see, wow, wait a second. Hair is what? Oh, hair is rough. So I know it is Patavi Dhatu. Then I can really see all the part of the body touching. So this is Ajatta, inside, internal. Bahidda, so when I see outside, I can see inside and outside, it is the same. It is not my Patavi, it is just a Patavi. So in the Mula Pariyaya Sutta, this is what he talks about. There are 24 things. So he starts with Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu and all that. So if you really see, I tend to hold on to this, that this is my Patavi. How? This is my body, so this is my hand, this is my leg, this is my fingers, this is this. Actually, they are nothing of mine, because I can see them change. I can see that the boy who was born was named, only the name has consistently remained, but the body has completely changed. So the Nitya Sanya I am getting is only on the name, not the body. The body is changing and changing and changing and changing. It's quite obvious. Then I am not able to see it because of the name Vilas is consistent. And whom is being called Vilas? This body is called Vilas. So yesterday I was explaining to the group when we were discussing, I said to them that if I go to the United States, who is going to United States? The body is going to United States. So the passport has the visa of a dead person's body, which talks about his name, and that person who is standing there or sitting there as an officer, he will look at this dead person's photo and he says, welcome to America. And I go out of the airport. Who is that I? It's no one. It's just a process of walking, process of talking, process of seeing, process of hearing, process of tasting, process of touching, process of smelling. That's all what it is there. So if I am able to see that way, that the I and you, that is the first name and the second name and the third name, are just connotation. They are just to converse. They are just a convention. They are not really a person like first person and the second person, the third person, then the person is not born. There is no jati, and hence there is no dukkha. As long as I consider I am Vilas, I am going to age, because this body is going to age. So there is jara. If there is jara, it is going to go for marana. No matter how much I eat, how much I take care, how much I do whatever, this body, this material body has a flaw. It is coming from the plant food, or if I am a non-vegetarian, so-called non-vegetarian, it is again coming from plant only. That animal has eaten the plant and I am eating that. Whichever way it takes, I am eating this, so it has a flaw. So the matter at which this is combined and made has a flaw. So with that flaw, marana is going to happen. If I associate with this body, or if I associate with another body, it is going to have a shoka, sorrow, parideva, lamentation, dukkha, body pain, domanasa, mental pain, upayasa, helplessness, sambhavanti, all these are going to happen. So if I start from the jati, how did the jati come to be? Because the naming and convention, nama and rupa, had this becoming, to become something, and whatever that wanted to become. So the mind had a perception and a feeling of becoming. And why the becoming is because of grasping, and why the grasping is because of the craving, which is nothing but endless thirst. And why that thirst is because of feeling, and why that feeling came into existence is because of the contact. Why that contact happens is because of the nama and rupa. Why that nama and rupa happened is because of the vijnana. Why did vijnana happen is because of avijja. Sankhara. And why did sankhara happen is because of avijja. Why did avijja happen in the first place is because of asavas. So asava pachaya avijja, avijja pachaya sankhara, sankhara pachaya vijnana, vijnana pachaya namarupa, namarupa pachaya salayatana, salayatana pachaya phassa, phassa pachaya vedana, vedana pachaya tanha, tanha pachaya upadana, upadana pachaya bhava, bhava pachaya jati, jati pachaya jara marana, and all that. So if the asavas don't flow, then there is no avijja. So if I am able to cut the asavas completely, destroy them totally by practice, either through satipatthana or through dhatu vibhanga or through by whatever means, there are many means what Buddha talks about. So whichever means is comfortable to me, if I am able to practice it. It's not that I need to do a PhD in Dhamma by reading so many things and all that. I need to look at what helps me. Even a Pena Pindupama Sutta can open up that asavas can get destroyed. Why? Because it's an example itself. He says, what is rupa? Pena pindupamam idam rupam. It's like a foam. Just watch the foam. Take a soap foam and see yourself as a soap foam. Is there anything which is called as a essence there? Is there anything called as a person there? Just watch. Or you watch a doll made out of foam. In the foam, make the doll, and you can see the movements of the bubbles, which is exactly what this body is. And how is Vedana? Feeling. It's like rainwater. You just stand in the rain. What happens? You might love the rain, first option. You might hate the rain, second option. You might be neutral to the rain. So some people love the rain, some people hate the rain, some people are neutral. So this is Vedana. What is Sanya? A perception is like mirage. So if you go in a desert and you can see the names, what we are calling, you as Harshil and I as Vilas and this, and then you see this fun. That foam is called by different ways. Foam, one person sees it like a father, another person sees it like a son, Another person sees it like a husband, another sees it like a friend, another person sees it like an enemy. But what is he seeing is only a form. So let's say Vilas is there, this body, as many people see it, they nomenclature in different ways. They name it in different ways. For some people will come and say uncle. Some people will come and tell me you are my teacher. Some people come and tell me that you are like my father. Some people will come and tell me that you are my brother, like my brother. You can this, you are that, you are that. But who is that? This form only. Right? So when I am called in the form, what's the feeling? Perception, sorry, what is the Vedana coming here? I feel I am the father. I feel I am the brother. I feel I am this. I feel I am that. But are you really father? Are you really the son? No. It is just a title given to you. That's all. So if you see you are neither a father, nor a son, nor a brother, nor a sister, nor this, nor that. It is just label after label after label is attached on this body. They are watching this body and they say, you are my father. Okay, great. So when I have a father, the father is going to die. When I have a son, the son is going to die. When I have a wife is going to die. Why? Because I am associating that to the label is attached to this body. As long as this body exists, so long I can see him as a father or a son or this or that. As soon as this consciousness departs from this body, the father is gone. From the beginning, there was no father, there's only a title. And there was no Vilas, that was just a title. And we can see it. As soon as the baby is born, there is no name. Then you name it. So it's like you bring a dog and you name the dog, and now you start crying because the dog is dead. Why? Because now it has no movement. And this movement is created by consciousness, and hence Buddha says in that Pena Pindupama Sutta, he says that Maya Upamancha Vinyanam, it is an illusion created by the consciousness, and hence you get attached to that movement. As soon as the consciousness departs, you cannot see the movement. So the question comes, what is consciousness? How do I experience consciousness? Very simple. There is one sutta where he says that how to experience consciousness. You put something in your mouth and it knows this is salt. It knows this is sugar, sweet. It knows this is sour. It knows it is hot. It knows it is cold. All of the taste it knows. And that is consciousness. You didn't teach it. You didn't specifically say, let me teach you how to taste salt. No, it knows. Now, are there any other methods of experiencing? Yes. Eyes cannot hear. They cannot hear. No matter what you try to do, they cannot hear. Ears cannot see. No matter what you do, it knows. That sense exactly knows what to do. You cannot change it. You cannot say, let me make this ear to see. Sorry, wrong number. It's never going to happen. You cannot, or I cannot make this tongue to hear for a change. Let me make it hear. No. Why that? The sound which is coming, I can't change it. It knows. It's going to sound different to different people. That is correct. Their throat, their voice cord, whatever is there, that when it vibrates, the sound comes. But I cannot change it. I cannot do anything about it because Vijnana knows it. It knows exactly what should come from where.
Yeah, it is bridge between Nama and Rupa, right?
No. Nama, Rupa and Vijnana is different. But if somebody were to ask, how to experience Vijnana. What is Vijnana? How do we know Vijnana? So Buddha in one of the sutta he says that how to experience Vijnana. He says, you want to experience Vijnana? Put something in the mouth. You have Vijnana. So Chakuncha Paticha Rupe Upajjati Chakku Vijnanam. That Vijnana, how does it come? How does it come to be? That Vijnana. Now, when Chakku and Rupa comes, there is a Vijnana which is coming. So first we need to experience the Vijnana. So we will experience the Vijnana as you start practicing, and then you will really come to know, wow, this is Vijnana. Then you have found the answer. Now the mind is at rest.
Yeah, I will tell you something. So actually, I was contemplating on this Vijnana thing last night.
Okay.
So yeah, I had some particular kind of thoughts which were like, they were thoughts about, my projections on something that exists in the world. That quality is not out there in world, in that object, but I was creating that in my own mind. So this is Vijnana, right? This whole expectation and creating something that does not exist in the world out there, right?
No, that is the Maya what is created in the Vijnana. Okay, it is not
Right.
Vijnana per se. The Vijnana
Okay.
is that which becomes conscious. Awareness is Vijnana.
Okay.
The Nama Rupa, when it attaches along with Vijnana, you have this story making. That is also part of Vijnana only because of Nama Rupa. So when you remove Nama Rupa, the
That
Vijnana
is
itself is
Kama
not.
Vijnana. Yeah.
So that is not what we are talking about. So when there is Nama Rupa, there is Vijnana. And what is Nama and what is Rupa is also there. So if you want to deeply understand Nama Rupa and Vijnana, you should read the Nidana Sutta. That is in Diga Nikaya. So you need to read that and read again and again and again and again only on Nama Rupa and Vijnana, Nama Rupa, Vijnana. He has explained how it is, and then it goes in circle. Vijnana Pachaya Nama Rupa Pachaya Vijnana. It goes in circle, right? So that is when it is called a Vattam Vattati, meaning it is circling around, which is nothing but like a whirlpool. So Vatta is whirlpool. Vattam Vattati means it's going in circles. So that is how the whirlpool happens. Now you can identify. You can say, there exists this person, there exists that person. Okay, now that is how this Rupa changes itself into Nama Rupa and Vijnana. Now you can give a designation. Now you can use a language, you can use a syntax, you can use a convention, you can now create we can create a concept. All that can be done.
Right.
Okay.
Sir, can't we say that, at the one end, Lal mentioned a sutta. I don't recall the name or number of the sutta, but Lal mentioned this sutta in one of his posts on the Vijnana, and he said that Buddha in that sutta said that Nama is at the one end, and at the opposite end is a Rupa, and in between is a Vijnana. This was what was said, yeah.
That
so,
is also correct.
In that sense, that was what I was trying to say, right? That Vijnana works as a bridge, the recognition of the Rupa, Then
Absolutely. But that is
when there is
conceptual.
a contact, then we have awareness that this has happened, right?
That is correct, but that is at a very conceptual level. So if you want to know the concept, then that is good. But if you want to experience, you have to experience only through 5 aggregates. You can't experience through anything else. Okay, so to understand the 5 aggregates, you need to either go to Phena Pindupama Sutta 1, or you have to go to other suttas where he has explained what is actually Vijnana. Okay, there are many suttas which he explains, and he explains that to sometimes to Ananda, sometimes he explains to so many other bhikkhus, that what is Vijnana, because this is the same question which is asked again and again. So he explains. Then you have to go to Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta. That's another sutta which gives you a perfect explanation on what is Vijnana, including all the jhanas. Or if you want, you can go through the this Samannapala Sutta, which is in the Digha Nikaya 2. Or you can go to this Digha Nikaya 15, which is Mahan Nidana Sutta. So whichever sutta you go, Harshil, the objective here, when you can feel that you have understood Vijnana, what it is two factors whenever it happens to you. Number one, you will see as an experience itself, not as a intellectual insight or conceptual way of looking at it. I might read the Lal's this one, I might read something else, I might read whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. When I feel something, immediately that experience comes. So if I'm feeling I'm Vilas, immediately that feeling of Vilas comes, along with the Vijnana that I am indeed Vilas. Okay? That is when you can see Namarupa, Vijnana arriving together, departing together. So when that feeling goes away, another feeling comes. This is Harshil. So immediately the mind clings onto Harshil, and the experience Vijnana gives is that here is Harshil. Okay, and here is this, here is that, like that. So that experience provider is the Vijnana. Experiencer is the mind which feels and perceives. So it experiences based upon what the consciousness gives you. So when you're sitting, if you just keep on observing, am I really Harshil? And if it makes neutral, so the Vijnana can give you this, that, and neutral also. And the feeling also becomes neutral. So when you get into the neutrality, you feel something within your heart. It starts to feel so nice that you get that wow moment. And then you can see this is mind, this is Vijnana, or this is the feeling and perception which is called as mind, and this is the Vijnana or the consciousness. Now you have broken the Namarupa and Vijnana together. Okay, so for that you need to first have a grasp about the 5 aggregates, not the 5 Upadana Kanda. That you have already crossed at Sotapanna. The next step is to understand the 5 aggregates. So when you know the 5 aggregates, you will not get attached to those 5 aggregates, because there is no you any longer. So you can see, this is Rupa, this is Vedana, this is Sanya, this is Sankhara, this is Vijnana. No matter whether you know Pali or don't know Pali, that is separate. If you call it as Rupa, as form and feeling and perception, the choices or preparation and consciousness in English or in Gujarati or in Hindi or in whichever language or whatever, German or Spanish or whatever, doesn't matter. You have grasped it, you have seen it, you have known it. So that there is no problem. Till I get to that state, there is going to be a problem for me. So I need to keep on stepping. So at Anagami level, I am able to see that all the time about this, but I am not able to stay in the Yatha Bhuta Jnana all the time. That's what I can see. So the Kamachanda and Vyapada not being there, it attaches itself to the other 5. So the avidya is still there. Why? Asavas are still there. They are not gone. They are suppressed. They are totally down, but they are not completely removed. So until unless the asava kaya jnana comes, removal of asavas comes, then the avidya goes away. And when the avidya goes away, the sankhara goes away. And sankhara goes away, the consciousness which captivated as when sight comes, this is my sight or this is what it is. That is not there like that. And when the sound comes, I see it, hear it only as a sound, not as making an object out of that sound. When the taste comes, I only see the 5 tastes or 6 tastes and nothing else. And when the smell comes, I just smell it. I don't make it as good smell, bad smell, this smell, that smell, rose smell, and this smell, lemon smell, all that. It just smell. And then when the touch comes, and that just touch, it just touch. There's nothing else in the touch. So whether I'm touching the bed, I'm touching the stomach, or touching the hand and touching somebody's hand, touching whatever, doesn't matter. So like that, if I do it, then I've reached Arahat Phala Samapatti, which is what in the Bahiya Sutta, where it says Dhite Dhite Mattam, Sute Sute Mattam, Mute Mute Mattam, Vinyate Vinyate Mattam. That means Dhite, when you see, you only see, no objects are seen, it's only seeing. Sute Sute Mattam, when you hear, there's only hearing, no object of that hearing. No object in the sense that, oh, he's speaking in Spanish, oh, he's speaking in English, he's speaking in Gujarati, he's speaking in Marathi, he's speaking in Kannada, he is speaking in Telugu, he's speaking in that, he's speaking in this, he's telling me about that, he's telling me nothing of that. It just sound is going, that's all. Like ears are hearing like that. There's nothing which is happening. So there is no internal turbulence happening. Mute mute mattan. So the smell is also one of the touch. So it smells. Then the body is touching. There's another one. Vinyate vinyate mattan. It means you are cognizing through consciousness. You are cognizing, becoming aware. So you just become aware of everything. That is, this is the smell, this is the taste, this is the touch, this is the thought. Not my thought, not my touch, it's just thought. This is sound, this is sight, this is touch, like that. So all the time. So there is no personality. There is no longer avidya, because there are no asavas. So asavas make one to see this and that. So kama asava, bhava asava, all that is gone. Avidya asava, all that is gone. Ditti asava, all the 4 asavas are not there. So when this does not exist, the mana doesn't exist. When the mana doesn't exist, there is no udacha. If there is no udacha, mana and avidya, the rupa raga also doesn't exist. In that case, the 5 higher fetters are also gone. As an anagami, the 5 lower fetters are also gone. So now I am an Arahat Phala Samapatti for sure, because I can now see anything. If I see, I can only see it as Pathavi Dhatu, Apo Dhatu, Tejo Dhatu, Vayu Dhatu, Akasha Dhatu, and Vinyana Dhatu. 6 dhatus. Out of which, when I see a person, conventionally I can say, oh, here is Harshil, because I need to communicate. Now I bring the mind, and the mind is purified. So I can recognize Harshil, but I don't interact with Harshil. So there is no raga, there is no dvesha, there is no moha. So raga, dvesha, moha, all the 3 are not there. Because I have seen for myself, there is no Harshil. It's just a naming. I just name it. There is a name. He's saying my name is Harshil. So if he asks me what's your name, my name is Vilas. Just a name, given name. There's no person out there. And hence there is no asava. So asava kaya jnana has been seen for oneself. So I am touching different section of Buddha Dhamma to get a breakthrough. So I can get it through Gati, I can get it through Asavas, I can get it through Avijja, I can get it through Paticsamutpada, then I can get it through Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta, I can get it through, let's say, 5 Indriyas, the Indriyas of the Sati and Indriya of Saddha, Virya and all that. And then I can get it through observing the 5 aggregates. Then I can get it through Four Noble Truths. That is what is the dukkha samudaya, dukkha nirodha, and dukkha nirodha gamini patipada. So I can use any one approach, but I and you, Harshil, what we need to do is we need to take one and consistently do for few months. So we shouldn't be reading too many things, shifting too many. This is what I could break through, because initially I had lot of interest. I used to read lot and lot and lot, and especially puredhamma.net I used to contribute also. Okay, so I used to write to Lal that this is what I have experienced, and I have also put in the forum. If you just give Vilas Kadiwal, you will get it.
I have seen your few posts.
Yeah, so I have written on my experience, and then all of that, what has happened, and how I was seeing the Vijnana, and how I can see, I'm able to relate to quantum mechanics, where one day when I was going in the park, I was able to see everything like a frame by frame by frame by frame, and how this whole movement is happening as a separate frames. Even now I can experience that. So I can see that there is no person out there. It's just like a movie where you make that fast forward, so you can see that everything is moving like this, like the photograph. You can just go up and down, and you can see the movement, and same thing is happening. There's nothing else which is happening. Okay, so what in my experience, I don't know about your experience, what I'm saying is that we need to take one subject, one of it, take one, whether you take the Panchakhanda, or you take the Patisamutpada, you take Anicca Dukkha Anatta, you take whatever. You have to consistently contemplate only on that, and immediately you will get it. I mean, you'll go beyond wherever you are. So if you are Sotapanna, you will get into Saktagami for sure. If you are already a Saktagami, you will become Anagami for sure, because that is how it goes. And the best sutta, where you don't have to track anything, is Mahasatipattana Sutta. You don't have to go through other suttas, because again it is conceptual. So unless I break the concept, it still has concept. So I keep on churning and going around and round and round and round. It's good to read. I'm not saying we shouldn't, but we have to stop after Sotapanna. We have to give a break, saying that okay, now I have got what I'm supposed to do. So now I'm not going to get into the apayas. I know it for myself. I'm not going into apayas because I've understood Buddha Dhamma. Excellent. Now let me take one of the sutta and practice and practice and practice. Using removal of dasa akusala is the first thing. So you have to always contemplate on Panatipata, then like that each of the 10 you have to establish. So the best sutta is the Kunda Sutta. So it is in Anguttara Nikaya, you can, or Samyukta, whichever that Nikaya is, you can take that, work out the way Buddha has explained there to Kunda, that how he should do that in order to reach a higher state, because he would have got stuck. And he comes and explains to the Buddha that I am not able to proceed. And Buddha explains to Kunda how he should do it. So the first thing I need to do is to get rid of 10 immoral. And when I get rid of 10 immoral, I need to do the second one, which is removal of hindrance. For that, I need to do the Indriya Bhavana. And this is exactly what is he lays down step by step in the Samannapala Sutta, D and 2. It's a big one, but you leave the first half, and then he will say that how a person should work out on the Sila, and then he immediately says that what needs to be done. So he comes to Indriyas. So we need to break the Indriyas, which we have already spoken, and then the road opens up for you. You can see it for yourself. It just opens up. Once that opens up, there is no looking back. So it actually speedens your whole process. So then you can experience the Patisamutpada, then you can experience the Four Noble Truths, then you experience the Anicca Dukkha Anatta, which whatever it is called as, whether somebody calls it as Anicca is not impermanent, it is unsatisfactoriness, or this or that, it doesn't matter. You will experience for yourself So the language doesn't matter. You know, oh, okay, now I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah,
Now I understand what is anicca. So I don't have to prove to anyone that, oh, anicca is not impermanent, anicca is this, anicca is that. Again, the same thing on anatta, where somebody calls it as anitya or anatta or no self or this or that, it doesn't really matter. And dukkha also, whether somebody calls it as unsatisfactoriness or suffering or whatever, it doesn't matter, because you have gone beyond it. At present, it makes sense. What you are reading on Lal makes sense. You continue doing that. I don't deny that. But take one
yeah,
subject from the sutta and practice. You take the simplest one or you take the bigger one, whichever you are comfortable. Work out on the 10 immoral deeds. That's the first thing you need to do. And the second thing
yeah,
is break the break the connection between the senses and the sense object, and then the road opens up for you.
yeah. So yeah, Indriya Upasana, that is, sorry, Indriya Bhavana, yeah. I'm working on that, and I feel like I have success up to some extent, because the craving, the temptation, that I can feel reduction in all that. Even if I, first of all, I don't now have natural tendency to, go out and fix sense objects. That is one thing. And another thing is, when I'm out anywhere at any place, even if there are some objects with, good kama guna, even then I am not as attracted to them as I was before. Yeah. And also I can see the process, not completely, but I can see now that, how the whole uh, how the whole suffering aspect come. I mean, we are out there, and now that we have birth, we have senses, and through the senses we are going to we are exposed to all sort of sense objects. They come, and then uh, when we have defilements, the sense objects are, having contact with the defilements, and through, then after samphasa we generate samphasa vedana, that is mind made pleasure from the sense objects, which is not out there actually in those objects, but we made it. Yeah, right. So
Right.
that happen. Yeah, I can see that. Then from that mind made pleasure, which we have created ourselves, that comes up as a tanha, right? That is why we form tanha, attachment. And when it is not there and we want it, that is why we have hatred or we have aversion. And if that is present, we have a greed. So if someone blocks us from experiencing that, then we have hatred for that. Yeah, so I can see those things, yeah. And also, the one interesting thing that I experienced was, that was the most interesting insight, it seemed to me, that came to me, was that we have bhava, jati, bhava, everything. And so we have birth, and because of birth, we have senses, and because we have senses, these objects comes through. And that is why we experience the anicca nature of them, right? Because all objects have anicca nature, but we only have contact with them when we have birth. So this is what is partially explained in the Mahanidana Sutta, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it starts from there. This suffering comes because all objects in the world have anicca nature, but we are not exposed to those objects if we don't have a sense. And those senses, they only come when we have attachment through through upadana, bhava, jati, etc. Right? So I can see at least up to that extent, sir, I have been able to see. But now I have been going into the detail of dependent origination whole cycle. I am using Pali words only, but due to my wrong pronunciation, I'm not using them with you. I will just use the English word. But in the contemplation, I use my own pronunciation and the Pali words. So I'm trying
Absolutely.
to do,
No, fine. You
yeah,
can do that, but try to put it in a right way, because Pali is a very phonetic language. So you will have a breakthrough when you spell it right.
Okay.
So that is one thing, because even Lal has put that in that, if you see the Pali words, but there is no voice to it. So wherever the ah comes, then you have to, that is a dash there. So you,
Yeah, upadana,
yes,
yeah.
yeah. So if you
Yeah.
do that, you will come to see how, I mean, through the language. See, there is a thing about both Pali and Sanskrit. They both are very phonetic. Okay, so what really happens, I'll tell you, it has a certain level of energy. So especially Pali has lot of energy. If I spell it right, it automatically takes me to that experience. If I spell it wrong, it doesn't give me that experience. Okay, so not that I should be obsessed with learning Pali. Actually speaking, if you learn Pali, it will be very good, very comfortable, and your progress will be much faster. If you want, I can teach you, I have no problem. But if you want to practice on your own, you can practice, I have no problem to that also. I don't want to force you that you have to learn, or I'm just suggesting that it will be good if you learn proper Pali in terms of uh, pronunciation. That is the
Right.
most important thing. So where you have to stress, you have to stress, like, ditti. I cannot make it in English, is there, so ditti or something like that. No, I have to make it as ditti. And if I'm using Sanskrit word, I should make it as drishti. I should be clear on that drishti has to come. So if it comes, what happens, that energy, that vibration helps me to experience much better. Like, pancha upadana khanda dukkha, if I am able to say it properly, then it gives one feeling. If I say panchupadana khanda like that, then it gives me another feeling. And there are many gathas there, and that is a beauty part of it. Like, there is one gatha where a deva comes and talks to the Buddha. Okay, so it starts like evam me sutam ekam samayam bhagava savatiyam viharati jetavane anata pindikassa arame. Like that, if you sing, if you say a gatha, it is not going to work. Then you have to make it like a gatha, like a singing, then it works. So there are various things. Even in Sangiti Sutta, Sariputta gives 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. There are, he gives 10. It is in Diga Nikaya 33. So it's like a music. So Buddha says, explain me the music thing, or the assembly is there, and he explains that, he says to Ananda, this whole place is so silent and their meditation is very good, so teach them music. Okay, wherein they all can recite at the same time. It's all about recitation. So in the Sangiti Sutta, Sangita is music. So Sangiti Sutta is how you should sing and how you should experience that singing. It's a beautiful sutta, but it is, you cannot just say in normal words. So it starts like this, it says that ekam kim. So then answer, first answer, sabbe satta aharatika, sabbe satta sankaratika. Now you keep on reciting ekam kim sabbe satta aharatika sabbe satta sankaratika. Now you experience aharatika sankaratika. Okay, all beings are coming due to food. All beings do sankharas. They do something, volitional action is being done. So if there is one, if you were to meditate on that one, then it is aharatika sankharatika. So I have to keep on reciting that. Recite and recite and recite and recite. Okay, there is another sutta. There is a beautiful 4-line sutta. It is like a gatha, and there is a person called a chitta. He is a householder. So if a question comes to somebody's mind, can a householder become an arahat? Householder, he is not become a monk. He never becomes a monk. Okay, can he be at an anagami level? Can he reach arahat? That sutta, that all the chitta vagga in the Sanyukta Nikaya, all of it talks about his experience. So there is one sutta, a beautiful one, is that it goes like a gatha. So one monk comes and meets Chitta, and he asks him, there is one riddle which Buddha has given, can I ask you? And then he says, yes, go ahead and ask me. So he says, Nelango seta pachado etaro vattati ratho anigam passa ayantam chinna sotam abandhananti. Like this, you keep on reciting, you get a beautiful experience. Now I'll tell you what the meaning is. Nelanga, langi in Pali means iron rod, rods, like what you put for a
Yeah.
window, right? So langi is that. Nelanga means without windows. That means what is the window, or what is this grill? What has been put? Grill is the ignorance. So you remove the ignorance. So Nelanga seta pachado. It's like a white canopy. Once you remove it, you see, wow, I am not held by anything. I can now go out. Simple. So there is no grill. Nelango seta pasado. Sorry, seta pachado. Ekaro vattati ratho. Eka is one, single. So single spoke, that is the sati. So he says, Vattati ratho, that means a person going up and down can watch like a single spoke on the chariot. If he is sati, chariot is the body. So once you observe the body, once you are in the body contemplation, kaya contemplation, two things happen. So the next two lines talk about it. He says, Anigham passa ayantam. So it means anigha means raga dvesha moha not being there. Nigha means raga dvesha moha being there. So when you see that this body is conditioned by food, body is conditioned by the sankhara, and then you don't have anything to do with it, immediately the raga dvesha moha goes away. So you can see that passa is touch. Ayantam is a person who has crossed over. Ayanta is ayan means Arya, and Ayantan means one who has crossed over, he has moved into the other. So he is a Arya or Arhat. Chinna sotam abandhananti. Chinna is the cutting. Sota is the stream. He is running in the stream. So chinna sotam abandhana. Bandhana means caught up. Abandhana means liberated. So this is the 4-line, and that sutta, he explains that. The chitta explains it. He asks this question, can you explain? And he explains. And then in the end, that bhikkhu says, you are such a lucky person that you are able to get such a deep dhamma of Buddha in such a clear way. So he says sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And at that time, Chitta would have already in Anagami. So during his deathbed, when he is about to die, he explains Buddha Dhamma. It's a beautiful rendering by Chitta, and all the Chitta Vagga is like a gatha, like a singing. So if I don't know how to do that, how to recite it, it becomes very difficult. But since I know how to recite it, I can now keep on reciting it in my mind, and I can, any bad thought or any sensual thought, any thought coming, I can immediately replace that with this, and then I can keep on doing that. So I can say Nelango seta pachado ekaro vattati ratho anigam passa ayantam chinna sotanna bandhananti. Like that I can keep 4 lines, that's all. There's nothing more to that except for the meaning what I explained to you. It is there in the sutta itself. So if we keep on reflecting on that, very easy. There's another sutta called Khajja Sutta. That Khajja means scratching, itchy. So he explains what is itchiness, and that is also in the Gatha. Most of the Gatha suttas are good because they, like, when we see a music, when you hear a music, it gets immediately caught up. So it can be a Hindi music or a Gujarati music or a Kannada music or English or whatever language music. You are stuck. Now you come. Okay, so whatever the music is, it helps in reflection. So if you've heard a music, you can get it at any time, because the what I can say, the memory, sati, is extremely good in music. So Sariputta says that if somebody wants to experience, he should convert everything into music. And he should recite in his mind and also physically. So Kaya and then Vachi and Mano Sankhara should be on this. So when you do that, you will immediately go from, if you are Sotapanna, you will become Sakatagami. If you are in Sakatagami, you get Anagami. If you are Anagami, you become Arahat. You reach it much faster. Okay. So 500 monks in that Sangiti Sutta, he explains, and he says that when Mahavira, which is the Nigantanatha Putta, has died, and a lot of fights and other things happening in the place called Pava, and then Sariputta explains how this Dhamma can be saved from getting into misfortune like the Nigantanatha Putta. And then he says, let us recite. And that is how this whole sutta starts. If you are interested, you can practice. And then your Pali also will improve, because he says how to recite it. So you can do that. So you by that approach, Harsil, is that you'll be able to pick that properly. And when you pick that properly, you will have a lot of experience. And don't feel bad of what I said. You can still speak to me in Pali. I'm trying to give you clarity. So I'm not trying to object.
Yeah. No. I won't take it in any other sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you learn it properly, it is helpful to you. So you try. So you make it like a recitation, anicca, like this. If you have seen Goenka, he does that. So anicca vata sankhara uppada vayadhammino upajjitva nirujjanti tesan upasamo sukho. So you have to make it like a recitation. It becomes very easy for contemplation. So you can make it like a what I can say, music driven. Okay, that is much easier than dry thing like anichavata sankhara. Instead of that, anichavata sankhara uppada vayadhammino upajjitva nirujjanti tesan upasamosukho. Like that really helps. I might not have known the meaning right now, that's okay, but first the recitation, then contemplation, then go into the meaning of it. What is anicca, what is dukkha, and what is sankhara? Anicca vata sankhara means what? Uppada vaya dhammino means what? Upajjitva nirujjanti means what? Tesan upasamo sukho means what? That is contemplation. That you can use lal, or you can use whatever you want to contemplate. Now that you know how to properly recite it, this becomes very easy. Okay, so since you are from India, it is easy to recite. If you are from some other country, it is very hard, because you have to come to this kind of phonetics, which for them is slightly difficult. Not that they can't do it, but it's slightly difficult than Indians, because we all have that flair, That's already there, whether you're Gujarati or Hindi or Marathi or Kannada or Telugu or Tamil or whatever it is, we already have that. So dukkha is dukkha. We know how to say dukkha, but if there's a Westerner, he said dukkha. So that
Yeah.
wouldn't really
Yeah.
work. So he might say anicca. It's anicca. So so there's a
Yeah.
huge difference. But they do a good job. I'm not saying that the Westerners cannot say. They
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
say. But since you are from
Yeah.
the same place, you should be able to do it easier, much easier. Like in Sri Lanka, they properly pronounce it. If you have seen Amadasana Thero, he properly pronounces it. His exact pronunciation is perfect. Or any other Thero in Sri Lanka, they pronounce it properly. Pronunciation should be perfect. We shouldn't be mistake in the pronunciation either. Like he starts with that Dhiras Vigata Mohas Abhinnakilas Vijita Vijayas Anighas Susamachittas Uddhasilas Sadhupanyas Vyasantaras Vimalas Namo Tassa Bhagavato Savako Ahamasmi. I think you would have heard in his sermon starting.
Yeah. Yeah. In every sermon. Yeah.
He will say that.
Yeah.
Right? And that is a very good gatha. If you have properly understood it, it is so nice. The meaning is beautiful. Especially how he starts. I really love the way he starts that. Dhiras Vijat Mohas Abhinnakilas Vijita Vijayas Anighas Susamachittas Uddhasilas Sadhupanyas Vyasantaras Vimalas Bhagavato Tassa Savako Amasmi. Okay, and another thing. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. That is how it is. I can't say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. That doesn't really make any sense,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So
Right.
it is phonetic. So it should go like
Yeah.
a raga. You should have that
Yeah.
up and down and up and down in a beautiful rendering. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Like that. Or if I were to say Iti Piso Bhagava Arham Samma Sambuddho Vijjacharana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarathi Satta Deva Manussanam Buddho Bhagava Iti. So if I say like this and now I sit and watch the breath, this will start to play. Namo Tassa, all that will be playing. So my mind is, if I want to enter into the first jhana, all the worldly thoughts are removed. So Vivichehi Kamehi, Vivichehi Akusala Dhammehi. Then I am starting with Savitakka Savichara. So now the Vitakka is about Namatassa Bhagavato, that is running. Vichara is, that is only which is coming in the thought. Nothing else is coming in the thought. So at the first level, I have left the world. And at the second level, I just drop and the piti will start. At a third level, I get sukha. And a fourth level, I get equanimity. So 5 stages. 1 Vitakka Vichara, Piti, Sukha, Ekagata. So I'm able to see, wow, this is first jhana, this is second jhana, this is third jhana, this is fourth jhana. Now I make my mind, which is pure and into infinite space. Immediately I can see expansion and expansion and expansion and expansion like that. So I can see Akasha Ananchayatana. It's an expansive space. Then Vinyana Anantayachana. So Vinyananchayatana. Now I can see infinite consciousness. How? Eyes are flickering, ears are hearing. Everywhere I can see consciousness. Every direction, every place is conscious. It's complete awareness is there. Then I come into the Hadayavattu, which you were talking about. So in the heart, I can see the 5 petals, like a reflection which is falling on that. So when something is touched, you just touch the surface and nothing else is there. So I see that there's nothing. Akinchayatana, there's nothing out there. So in each senses, there is nothing. If I see, it's just like a mirror. Some object comes there and goes away. Then the ear, some sound comes and goes away, like that. Then I get into Neva Sanya Nasanya Ayatana. So now I see that the perception is there about the objects, nimitta, and the perception is also not there about the objects. The nimitta is not there. So I feel calm, complete, but defilements exist. I can see. Then I reach the 9th jhana, Sanya Vedaita Nirodha. Okay, so I can use Etan, Santan, Etan, Panitan to do this. I can do this with Adichavata Sankhara, or I can do with Nelango, Seta Pachado, or whatever, or I can do through Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. I can use anyone, absolutely fine, but I will be able to do the jhanas from one to the next, to the next, to the next, like that, to the 9th jhana. And your breath completely stops. So you can just stops. And stops. So Kaya Sankhara, Vachi Sankhara, Mano Sankhara. First, the Vachi Sankhara will not be there. Second, the Kaya Sankhara will not be there. The third one is the Mano Sankhara is not there. When the 3 of these Sankharas are gone, you are in the sleep. Just like you went to the deep sleep without knowledge, in the night, you'll get into the deep sleep state while being completely aware that you are in deep sleep. Of the world, there is no world. The loka is removed completely. And you can experience that. So what's the difference between a deep sleep state and this state is, in this you have awareness, in this there is no awareness. We all go to Nibbana in the night, but we are not aware that that is Nibbana. There is ignorance. Here there is no ignorance. You have experienced that while waking and while you know that this is Nibbana. This is one way to reach Nibbana. There are 4 ways of Nibbana. This is one of the ways. So in the Mahavedala Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 43, he explains completely how to attain that. Between Sariputta and there's another monk, and they discuss step-by-step process. If you really work out like that, you'll get it. Or Chula Vedala Sutta, that also helps from Dhammadinna, she and Visakha, the husband. So they both discuss, and a beautiful one. There again, you'll experience. So you can try whichever mode, however it is, it will work. For sure, for you it will work. Don't worry. But select one, go deeper, it will happen. I mean, you have been doing it, I'm just saying that.
Yeah. So mostly I am not focusing much on, doing formal meditation per se. Like I don't do sitting or anything. I just usually try to, have very I try to have brevity in learning them. I try to understand the concise meanings and exactly what concepts are trying to say and how they relate to real world. I am trying to do this thing at this stage actually.
Okay, carry on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you please
So
have to remember, only Vipassana is not going to work. You have to have Samatha also. Only Samatha doesn't work. Vipassana is also
yeah.
required. So you have to use it at two wings. You shouldn't
Yeah.
forget it. Only
Yes,
contemplation,
sir.
no Samatha is not going to happen. Only Samatha, no Vipassana is not going to happen. Both are required. So for Samatha, you have to do jhana. For Vipassana, you have to contemplate. So you have to do both. And when you do both, just like a scissor, it cuts the asavas from the
Right.
root.
So, sir, as you said, what was the sutta where you said Sariputta was discussing the whole thing step by step with someone?
Mahavedala Sutta.
Mahavedla. Let me just note down this name of this sutta. That
Don't
is
worry.
what? Maha?
Mahavedala Sutta. You
Okay,
don't.
I will just note
No,
down
no,
the
you
name.
don't. You don't have to do that. I will tell you the sutta number. You forget about that. MN 43.
Okay, M and 43.
Yep.
Okay.
Go through that sutta.
Right.
And
Yeah, I think, I mean, slowly I feel like that, I am naturally feeling that I need to now start doing, formal sitting and everything, because I feel that, yeah, it is naturally coming that I need to now develop the samatha. And actually, I even read a sutta today where either Ananda or Buddha was instructing someone that there are only four kind of persons who get liberated from this sansara. First is first kind of person first develops the samatha and then does vipassana. Then another person first develops vipassana, then he does samatha. Another person develops both, and there was something else, I don't know.
yeah,
The
that
fourth
is
type, yeah.
that is a Yuganda Sutta.
Yeah.
What you are referring is to Yuganda Sutta. Yes, without that it will never happen. So that's the reason I am telling you. You have read enough. That's okay. You keep that. Now
Yeah.
you have to do meditation, which is not the karmasthana what is done in Sri Lanka. That they only go by desanas. That is not
Right.
that's not going to help. And
Right.
in Burma, they only do the samatha and then the body observation, which is they call it as
Yeah.
vipassana.
Yeah. Yeah.
That also doesn't help.
Right.
You have to have both samatha and vipassana.
Right.
Fine, then try it out, and we can again meet. Or if you have some more things to discuss, I'm okay, I'm free. But if you don't have anything, then we can end the call.
Uh, well, actually, I have been trying to work on five aggregates actually. I mean, especially how, like, going into more details, so to speak.
Right.
I mean, all the five aggregates, like, what are types of sankharas and how the whole thing works together and everything. I am trying to do that.
Okay, fine. Try it out, but then you refer to those suttas where you get clarity on the five aggregates, like Pena Pindapama Sutta, or there are a lot of suttas where he explains in detail about the five aggregates. And the five aggregates are also there in the Chula Vidala Sutta. That what I gave you is MN 43. If you just go to MN 44, there is about that.
Okay. Right.
Okay, so you can go through that also.
Right. So, I mean, sir, what is your advice about achieving the jhana? I mean, how? I mean, I will surely read the suttas, but what is your advice? Like, is there some defined methodology? Like,
Yes,
I
there
have been,
is.
trying to be very mindful, like I don't generate, I try to even prevent the bad mano sankhara even, let alone the vachi sankhara or doing any kaya sankhara. I try to even stop the mano sankhara. But so I'm
What?
trying to do that
Got it.
mindfulness and everything.
Got
Yeah,
it. You for the first one, if you want, we both can do together, and it will be like a guided meditation. And what happens is that you will be able to attain the third jhana, sukha,
right,
and from then onwards you can do it yourself. Or if you want to do it yourself on all on your own, the step here is that first you have to, for few minutes, like 15-20 minutes, you have to recite the 10 moral deeds. Like, if I'm starting my meditation right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with, I'll close my eyes and then start to look at my mouth region, okay? And then I'm going to start reciting Panatipata Veramani Sikhapadam Samadhiyami Adinnadana Veramani Sikhapadam Samadhiyami Abrahmacharya Veramani Sikhapadam Samadhiyami Musavada Veramani. Like that, I am going to do all the 10. Okay, then I'll take 5 minutes to investigate whether my mind has something to do with killing or harming, whether I have something on stealing, something on a brahmacharya, some thought about women or something is coming, or I have
right.
intention to tell lies or intention to do this, do that, and all that, and then I watch for 10 minutes. Like while I observe the breath, I do that. Then I come to looking at hindrance. Whether I have visikicha, I start with that. Then the next one I'm going to start is udacha kukucha. Then I see whether I have thinamida. That means if my head is falling like this, or I'm feeling sleepy or something. Then I come to Vyapada. Then I come to Kamachanda. Or if the Kamachanda is still there, I start with Kamachanda. So I have to look at those patterns, and that would be around 30 minutes of doing this, and then I start the recitation of Ethan, Santan, Ethan, Panitan, or something like that, because then I need to have the Vitakka Vichara. By now, the mind would have become calm, tranquil. By the time I finish this 10 Dasa Kusala, then the 5 hindrances I've observed, it would be more than 30-35 minutes by the time I finish this, or even 40 minutes. And then I start looking at the breath, going in and coming out, and going in and coming out, and then I start Etan Santan Etan Panitan Yadidam Sabba Sankhara Samatho Sabupadi Pati Nisaggo Tanhakhayo Virago Nirodho Nibbananti. Like that 7 times. It can be sometimes 3 times, sometimes 7 times, sometimes more number of times. If I have a palpitation in the heart region, if I am having some stomach related or something related with my sitting or whatever, so if I observe all of that, the body becomes still. If the body is not still, mind is not stilled. So I have to first still the body. So Kaya Sankhara has to be stilled. So when I do that, the breath becomes very faint. Now there is nothing in the mind. So I reach the second jhana, piti will start. It spreads over the whole heart region and it makes so much of happiness. Then sukha comes. The whole body is having sukha, the mind is filled with sukha, and it is ready now to take any input. So now I can do directly Vipassana instead of going to all the 9 jhanas. Or I can go through the 9 jhanas, whichever way it works. So now let's say I want to contemplate on anicca nature. Now the mind can take anicca nature. If I want to do dukkha, then it can take dukkha. If I want to contemplate on anatta, it can take anatta. If I want to take paticcasamuppada, it can take paticcasamuppada. So I can take whatever, and it goes very deep. It cuts all the defilements. Okay, and I can do Vipassana for hours together now, because there is no movement of the mind, no movement of the body. So I have done Samatha, I am doing Vipassana. And after a while, to test how good is my Vipassana, I can go to the 4th jhana. And there is no residual dukkha, there is no residual raga, there is no residual dvesha. So I can be in that state. Now I can penetrate anything. Now if I were to open the eyes and start seeing, whether I am doing Indriya Bhavana or whatever it is, I can experience completely, wow, this is what it is. This is what is said in the sutta, and I can myself experience it. So this is the step. So 30-40 minutes will be on doing this. This is the preliminary step before we get into the sum. So I can use Etan Santan, Etan Panitan, or I can use Anichavata Sankhara, whatever it is. It is something I have to use as a tool. I can't directly enter into the breath mode. That's not possible. So if I even go by Mahasatipatthana Sutta, I have to first look at Kaye Kayanupassi Viharati Atapi Sampajano Satima Vineyaloke Abhijjado Manasan Vedanaso Vedananupassi Viharati Atapi Sampajano Satima Vineyaloke Abhijjado Manasan Chitte Chittanupassi Viharati Atapi Sampajano Satima Vineyaloke Abhijjado Manasan Dhamme Dhammanupassi Viharati Atapi Sampajano Satima Vineyaloke Abhijjado Manasan. When I recite this, all the remaining things drops off. There is nothing like house, there is nothing called school or this or that, and everything goes away. Are you still there? Now you are back.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if I do like that, I enter into the 1st jhana. I can stay for a long time in 1st jhana, then into 2nd jhana, then into 3rd jhana, and then when I am in sukha, that's the time I can start Vipassana. Now you can take whatever subject, it will immediately you get that insight. Wow, got it. Next one, I got it. Next one, I got it. Next one, I got it. And
Right.
you will be so pleased. Wow, now the concept is clear. Now when you read again, you will get a different experience. The same Lal's explanation, now you will see it in a different way. Okay. Then if you start reading the sutta, you don't require that English translation itself. You can just enjoy that Pali, because you will get it. It's not that you have learnt Pali, but you are able to really get into that. It attracts you, and you will be able to understand all by yourself. So now your Shraddha, faith, increases tremendously. So we should start every day with, till we reach Anagami state, we should start with recitation. Once Anagami, you don't require that, because now it is established. Now you don't
Yeah.
you don't have kamachanda, you don't have vyapada, you don't have visikicha, you don't have silabitta paramasa, you don't have the sakkaya ditti. All the five are not there. Now you are clear. You don't require again and again to say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa while starting. That is not required. That's like parrot. It's not required. Till we reach there, you require all of these as a tool. That is Samatha. You are making it tranquil. You are making the mind tranquil. So this is the practice of jhana.
Okay. Yeah. I am slowly realizing, the importance. Yeah, because to progress ahead, I think that this is very necessary part. Yeah.
So you try, otherwise we both can do together. One day we can sit and you require around 2 hours. I require around 2 hours. So we both can sit together on this video like this and we can do it together. And I have no problems. So whichever day, if I come early or if I have not gone to the office, like Wednesday I'm not going to the office, so we can start at 6:30 in the evening and end at 8:30. 2 hours we can do the jhana.
Yeah.
I can help you to reach both Rupa and Arupa jhana, and you can verify that whether you have reached or not.
Okay. That would be great. So, I think first of all, sir, I should let me practice on my own for something.
Yeah,
Then we will do it together.
first you practice. Depending
Yeah.
upon your practice, see, it's always good to do yourself. If not working, then you can fall back
Yeah.
on someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't recommend that you should always do with me.
Yeah.
Okay, so you try. If you fail, if
Yes,
you're
sir.
not able to get,
Yeah. You are always there. Yeah.
then you can fall back. But you try
Yeah.
it yourself. It'll work.
Yeah.
It's not a big thing. It is something where you should know the steps, but you should not forget looking at the 10 immoralities. That's the most important.
Okay. So let me repeat the whole process. So first, we should discard the 10 immoral deeds and the thoughts related to it, etc. Then we should contemplate if the hindrances are found,
Correct.
and we should try to remove or suppress them.
Right.
And then we should, this will take like half an hour or something. Then we should recite, right?
Yes, recite something.
And then,
It can be even Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. That is
yeah,
okay.
I'll learn that one with the pronunciations. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, and then we should focus on breathing for some time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Then,
So,
then after you do this, your breathing will be very fine.
yeah.
So when you do this, let's say you are only doing with Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. You have looked at the Dasa Kusala, then you have looked at stopping or reducing or suppressing the Nivarna, which is nothing but the hindrances. Now I sit and I say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. The first one was for Kaya, the second one is for Vachi, a third one is for Mano. And then I will have to take refuge in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. So what I am going to do is Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami. When I am reciting, another thing I had told you but you did not remember is you have to look at your lips region and how the sound is coming. That is most important. All your awareness should be on this region, so that it cuts through all the thoughts. So then the second round. The first one was for Kaya, second one is for Vachi. So Dutiyam pi buddham saranam gacchami, Dutiyam pi dhammam saranam gacchami, Dutiyam pi sangham saranam gacchami. Now it is for Mano. Tatiyampi buddham saranam gacchami, Tatiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami, Tatiyampi sangham saranam gacchami, Saranaagamanam sampunnam. So when I do this, actually I am doing the Sampajana Pabba of Satipatthana, because bhasite is when somebody speaks, you are aware of the speaking. So to really watch, like you are watching somebody opening his mouth, so you have to watch it like that. So when you watch it, all the thoughts gets cut at once, no thoughts will be there. So first one you did for Kaya, second one you did for Vachi, the third one was for Mano. Now when you sit, and start watching the breath, you'll feel the tranquility appearing, then it turns into peace, then it turns into piti, joy, then you get sukha, like that. And you will find a tremendous improvement in your ability, because it's so still. If you give anything to the mind, it will reflect. So it's just like a mirror, you have cleansed the mirror, so anything coming on that, it will reflect. In the same way, now you are ready for contemplating on any Dhamma subject, any Dhamma, can be anything. Now you take anicca. Now if you start reflecting on what is anicca, nature, watching the breath, just keep your hand on the stomach, what do you see? You are seeing arising and passing away. Uppada vayatena anicca. That is what you are going to experience. So whenever there is a upada, there is bhanga. Or there is upada, there is it recedes. So the stomach goes up, comes down. It's not what I feel. It's not I can request it. Hey, don't go down. So now I see, if the breath is going away like this, it's going to become dukkha one day or the other, because as much as the breath is going, so much is the life going. So now I can see that eventually it is going to be dukkha, because every breath is a new life, every breath is a new death. Life, death, life, death, life, death is happening. So yam kinchi samudaya dhammam sabbam tam nirodha dhammam. That means wherever there is an arising of a dhamma, there is a departure of dhamma also. So arise, depart, like that. So I can see for myself. So this is a process. Breathing is a process. So there is no person there. So it is anatta. So now I can experience it. So I feel equanimity. The mind is equanimous. Doesn't go anywhere. Now I can use any Dhamma topic. You take any Dhamma Vishaya, you are going to do it beautifully. It just clicks, tak, just starts clicking. And you will be so happy. Wow. Now you read any sutta or any explanation or anything on internet or wherever, you will find such a peaceful way of understanding. And that is how you penetrate the Dhamma and progress from the Sotapanna state to Sakadagami to Anagami to Arhat. That's all. So you have come to the
Right.
7 Bhujanga factors actually. So you start with Sati Sambhojanga, then Dhamma Vishaya Sambhojanga, then Piti Sambhojanga, Pasiddhi Sambhojanga, Samadhi Sambhojanga, like that.
Right.
Okay, good. Try it out and let me know.
Yeah. I will definitely make it a bit. Yeah. I want to start doing it.
Yes. And one another factor, one another thing you need to see. Okay, this is something what you need to observe in yourself and observe in others. What is that you need to observe and what is that you need to see? As you start progressing, your voice improves and your eyes become more and more attractive. Okay, and your face glows. So if you're observing someone and you can see that, that means the person is practicing well. If there is no energy or if there is no the 5 indriyas, that is sati, samadhi, panya, saddha, like that, it's not there, that means that person is yet to develop. So you need to see in you need to see in other. Okay, so when you are interacting with me, you have to look it that way. If you are interacting with somebody else, you have to look it in that way, that how much you can see peacefulness in that person, in his eyes, in his face, in his speech, in his explanation, in her, his or her, whatever. If you're watching video also,
Yeah.
you need to do that, and then it will tell you whether you are following the right person or you are not following the right person, you are following the right dhamma, you are not following the right dhamma, and all that.
Right.
So you need to study and you need to, I'm not saying that you should inform me right now. If you want to inform, you can inform, but if you don't want to inform also is okay, but you need to observe. Why it is important is because you need to know that it's a dhamma which shines, not the person. So if the dhamma vishaya is very good in that person, that person's body, face will shine. It'll have a glow. His eyes will have a glow. Okay. If the person is only theoretical, that there is no glow.
Yeah.
That's another thing for you, especially if you are wanting to move from Sotapanna to Anagami or Arhat. You need to know that whether the other person has experience for himself or herself, and that will be seen in the eyes. Fine, that's all.
Okay. I will try to keep this all in mind, sir. Yeah.
Fine.
Okay. So I will try to practice and we will meet in some days probably.
Okay, no worries, no urgency. Whenever you want, now you message. I've been messaging you. Instead, you message whenever you are ready.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sir. Sure. Yeah.
Okay, all right then. Have a very good evening and a very good practice.
Yes, sir. You too. Have
Okay.
a great day, sir. Yeah.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye.